The message of today's emissions gap report is clear. We are teetering on a planetary tightrope. Either leaders bridge the emissions gap, or we plunge headlong into climate disaster, with the poorest and most vulnerable suffering the most. This report shows annual greenhouse gas emissions at an all-time high, rising 1.3% last year. They must fall 9% each year to 2030 to limit global temperature rise to 1.5 degrees Celsius and avoid the very worst of climate change. Current policies are taking us towards a catastrophic 3.1 degrees Celsius temperature rise by the end of the century. As this report rightly puts it, people and planet cannot afford more hot air. The emissions gap is not an abstract notion. There is a direct link between increasing emissions and increasingly frequent and intense climate disasters. Around the world, people are paying a terrible price. Record emissions mean record sea temperatures, supercharging monster hurricanes. Record heat is turning forests into tinderboxes and cities into saunas. Record rains are resulting in biblical floods. The upcoming United Nations Climate Conference COP29 must drive progress in two ways. First, COP29 starts the clock for countries to deliver new national climate action plans, or NDCs, by next year. That means they must drive down all greenhouse gases emissions and cover the whole economy, pushing progress in every sector. And they must wean us off our fossil fuel addiction, showing how governments will phase them out fast and fairly. The largest economies, the G20 members, responsible for around 80% of all emissions, must lead.